Alright, thank you for coming back today. We are going to look at STATA, Introduction to STATA. We are going to look at the features of STATA. Why is STATA, what makes it good, a data analysis tool or a data analysis software. This is a STATA version 16, multiple processor. Here we have file, of which we have open, view, do, file name, import, where you can import an Excel sheet, SPSS file, SAS file, and so on. There's export, where you can export an Excel sheet, the results to your Excel sheet. You can export text data and others. You can print the results. You can have example databases and so on. Then we have edit. You can copy from the database. We have data. This is a menu for data. It has describing data. It has a data editor. You can create a variable or change. It has a variable manager and so on. Then we have graphical, where we use this menu to draw different kinds of graphs. Then we have statistics, which has all sorts of statistical methods, from linear models, bivariate outcomes, ordinal outcomes, is the generalized linear models, and so on. So we have the window side, which are these ones. We have the variable window, which is this one for the variables. It shows the list of variables that we have in the database. We have the history window, shows our commands. Then you have the properties of a variable. Here are some of the shortcuts. This is open, this is save, print, it is the log. Then we have the viewer. This is the graphical, this is the do file, this is the editing database, and this is still the data editor. This is a variable manager. This shows the results, and this breaks the command. So we are going to look at how to import data from an Excel file. So you come on file, import. You're going to import an Excel spreadsheet. Select, you browse where you want to get your database from. So we can go ahead and locate where your data file is, or the Excel file. Mine is here. Then we have this worksheet. If there are so many worksheets like here, you choose the worksheet that you want to select for the data. If for example mine, I want to select worksheet maybe 3, then the range, I think I want to use all, then import the first row as variable names, don't forget that. Then you select OK. So we have entered a database. We have imported a database from Excel. If you want to look at how this database is, you can browse, and we can find that. So we can browse, and browsing means you want to look at the data. You can select this, the data editor, or you can use the data browser. So you're going to use the data browser. You're going to select this data browser. It will show you us the data, how the database looks like. So if you want to edit, maybe this was 36 or 38, then you select the data editor, you go to the editing mode. So you can close the browsing method, the browse window. We can also use a command to browse data, like browse. You type browse in the browse window. This is the command window. You type the word browse in the command window, then it will bring the database. It will show you the database that you have. STATA can also detect a command by writing for the first 3 letters of the command. For example, BRO for browse. It will also respond. But in our example, we are going to remove this database. We are going to remove this data. So we remove this data by writing the word clear in the command window. So we clear. So we are going to use data from the system such that everyone gets an example. So we are going to go to file, then select example databases. Select example databases. Oh no, this is so we go to the installed databases. We are going to use auto, so we select use. So this is the database that I have selected. So you see the command will come here for importing this data. Sys use auto.dta. It also goes here in the history window or the command window. So if you want to look at how this data is, we select bro. We type bro, or we select this, the browse window. So you see that this database looks different. Here we have the data variable names, then we have the data from each variable. So you can see this is red, this is black, and this is blue. There is a meaning to why this is red, this is black, and this is blue. So STATA will mark red for all string variables. String, we mean letters or words. The words, phrases, it will mark them as red. It will mark the numericals and others as, it will mark numericals or the numbers as black, and it will name the categorical ones as blue. You see, when you click on domestic, you see that there is a 0 here. This is what we call a value. So when you go down, I think they are all okay. If you select foreign, you see it has 1. So this is what we call a value that is given to foreign. So we shall look at the values and how to code these to give values to a categorical variable. Remember, STATA can't read data or cannot analyze data which is in string, which is red. So for every data, it has to be having a value or a numerical value attached to it. So if you have a categorical variable, you attach a numerical variable that explains it. For example, for this foreign, whether the car is foreign or not, or domestic, there is a value that is attached. So for any car which is domestic, the value that is attached is 0, and for cars that are foreign, the value that is attached is 1. So STATA can read 0 and 1, but later you can just label it the 0 and 1 as domestic and foreign. We shall look at that at some time. So we can go ahead and also give values to this. We shall look at that. So we talked about visualizing our data. Browsing is one example of visualizing our data. To know what kind of data do I have. Now we have a car make, the price, the miles per gallon. We have this. we have the headroom, the trunk, the weight of the car, the length, the turn, the displacement, gear ratio, and whether it's a foreign or domestic. So this is the kind of the database we have. We have a database for cars. So if we want to maybe get the mean length of these cars, that's when, if you want to summarize the length of the car, you can just write sum to mean summarize. Like I said, STATA can detect the first 3 letters of a command. So if you summarize the length, it will give you the number of the observations in that variable, the mean, the standard deviation, the minimum value, and the maximum value. So that's summarizing. That's how one way of summarizing continuous variables. So for a categorical variables, we want to do a tabular form. So we tabulate. So we tabulate the car type, which gives us the domestic as 52, which makes 70%, and the foreign we are 22, which makes 29.7%. So for this categorical we tabulate, and if we want to summarize the continuous variables, we use the mean and the mean and standard deviation or median. We shall look at that. If we want to look at the mean price, we look at this, we summarize the price. You see, the mean price was $6165. So we can also look at what we call describe. We can describe a variable. We can look at a variable, the whole content of the variable, by using the command of codebook. So we can write codebook space foreign. So it will show us it will give us the variable, which is foreign, and its car type. It will tell us the type. It is numeric because of these labels that we are given. I told you STATA reads only numeric variables, only numeric figures. So label is given as origin, range is 0 to 1, it's 0 to 1. Number of unique values, there are 2, 1 and 0. So it gives you the frequency in each. So this is the value given, and this is the label. So there are no missings out of 74 observations. So we want also to, that is one way how we can look at a variable. So we can go ahead and look at what we call scatter. So scatter all graphical means. For example, if we want to look at a scatter plot, so we can look at a scatter plot of 2 continuous variables, for example price and the length of the car, or price and the weight of the car. So you can just put a command of scatter. You can scatter the price and the weight of the car. Then it will give you the graph of price versus the weight of the car. So each dot will denote the price. Each dot denotes a car, its price on the y-axis and the weight on the x-axis. This is one way of getting familiar with your data. So you scatter data of between 2 continuous variables. You can also draw bar properties of the database, or property a bar graph maybe between 2 categorical variables. You select a graph of frequencies. Frequencies means numbers, or graph of percentage of frequencies within categories. This is for percentages. You want it vertical or horizontal. We are going to select vertical. So you go ahead and select the category. We are going to select The categorical variable we have is foreign, that's the make of the car. So you can go ahead and fill in an expression. I think that's not necessary. The weights, we want frequency weights, or we cannot believe that it's none. So you look at the options, stacked bar by Y, missing everything. I don't think we need that. Then the label with height, label with total, label with variable none. So you go ahead, you put the y-axis, you put the titles, maybe a paragraph, showing number of, did we say number of, did we select for frequency, or we selected the frequencies? Yes. Showing number of cars per type. Yeah, and press OK. Yeah, this is what it has brought. You can see. We can look. We shall look at the graph bar editor, this graphical editor tool, where you can add more titles, change these colors. Maybe you want this color to be different. We shall look at all this. So we shall look at all this later on, but right now, don't save. Right now we are just looking at getting familiar with our data. So I'm going to show you another thing called a codebook. What we call a do file. So a do file is a file that keeps all our commands. In STATA, it is very, very important to keep a do file. So you can just click on this, then copy all your commands from the first one, press a shift button on your Windows, down, then copy, then go back, look for your do file and paste the commands there, then save your do file. This helps you, you can give it a name, do file 1. This will help you in case you are doing a similar data analysis or something. You don't need to go back and do the commands. You just go and load your commands. Even if you get lost somewhere, you can go back and look at your do file. You can give the do file to someone else to look at what you've been doing. So that's the importance of do file. There is another one called a log file. So a log file also, it is like a screen recorder for STATA. It will record whatever you'll be doing. So you can come here, log, and select begin. So you first save the name of the log file, maybe log 1, log file 1. You save. So you see that the log file is open. From here it will record whatever we do with the result section. For example, if we want to look at maybe regression, linear regression between miles per gallon and the price, it will record this. So I know I have done a regression analysis, a linear regression analysis. We shall look at that later on when we move forward with the types of data analysis and the type of data. We can also decide to look at maybe a car type versus the price, and that will be a logistic regression if car type is our outcome versus the price. So, and you will see that the price is not statistically significant with the car price. I mean with the car type. in the logistic. So all this we shall look at this, how to interpret the odds, the odds ratios, the coefficients and everything. So as we move on, right now I want you to get familiar with STATA. Like I told you about the red, so we can create variables, another variable from this make type, and also give it values like those of domestic and foreign. So by doing this, we are removing it from red to blue. From red, this is STATA can't use this data when it is red string. We can give it values, and we say maybe we assign a value of 1 to AMC Pesa, maybe a value of 2 to maybe this, maybe a Chevrolet, a Chevette, or a value of 3 for Dodge. So we can do that, and if we want to use this same variable as it is, we do what we call encode. So we shall use the variable editor. The variable editor is this with a pen. It's the data editor. So you click on the data editor, you click on the variable that you want to change. So by clicking on it, you want to change it from one type to another. So you right click, so go to data. So data also has a menu here, so these you will find them, but you right click, select data, then you go to encode string variable to labeled numeric. That means it will give a label to each string, or to each string word that is in this variable. So let's name this make2, and we'll see what happens. So you see, it will bring it here, but this time it will have given it values. That's why it is blue now. AMC has been given a 1, MC Pesa a value of 2, this is a value of 3. So the reason why this was left not labeled, because they are very different. There are so many different makes, so it will give so many values. As you can see, we are in value 17. Maybe if you want to aggregate that, I'll give all the AMCs 1, all those with card 2, all those with Chev 3, all those with Dodge A4, all those with Ford. You can go ahead and do that, and we shall look at that also. So I want you to notice that we have in this variable of REP78 we have dots. This dots means a missing observation or a missing value. So if we are doing data cleaning, we don't want these missings. Any missing value means that the database is shrinking. So we shall see what we can do to replace these dots. How can we do to replace these dots, and what can we do for them? So as per now, I think that's a good introduction to STATA. We shall look at others later. Thank you. So we can go back and look at how our log file looks like. After I'll show you, I think before that, let me show you how to save this database. If you have edited your database, you don't want to lose it, you can just say file, save as, you give it a name, maybe car database clean, then you save. so it will be saved. You can also export this data as an Excel spreadsheet. You can export results and others. So we can go back and look at how our log file looks like. I think we saved it here. So before we look at the log file, we need to end the log file. So you say close. Remember, we started at the beginning, then we have to close. So it will have closed recording this data. So if you go back and look at the log file, oh yeah, it's telling. So you can open it from here, file open, and look at the log file. So you see it has recorded everything in our result section, including all the commands we have been doing. So that's the importance of a log file. You can send it to your supervisor to look at what you've been doing. So that's the importance of a log file. Thank you.